Or were you like, yeah, but you'll need to like teach me how to dom you?
I Googled it.
Shit, yeah.
Do not do this at home. Please don't start how I did. I organised my first threesome when I was like 14 with my best friend and my boyfriend.
Oh, I love that.
Very good.
Got the dildo, spoke to my best friend's mum,
You spoke to your best friend's mum
like organising it.
at 14. This is awesome.
This guy messaged me saying, can he be your slave?
Oh, so he just randomly said that.
Plucked me out.
Okay, he just knew.
You just knew, yeah.
It was in the eyes.
He saw some talent in you, yeah.
This episode of the Kat and Mark Show is brought to you by Raven Management. Raven specializes in accounting and financial services for the adult industry. But if you're listening to this and you're not from the adult industry, then they can still be your accounting and financial services provider to any industry that you're in. But yeah, especially if you're in the adult industry, that is their main niche and they service majority of the adult industry. So they know their shit and you should contact Raven. All of their links are down below. And today we have on the wonderful Mistress Eros. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
There you go. So I've written down, because you do so many things, okay? So I've written them down. So we have professional dom, sacred sexuality practitioner, public speaker, and this is the one I'm interested in. We'll talk about it later. Facilitator of transformative tantric temple nights.
Ooh.
Yes.
So where should we start?
Yeah, where do we even
How
start?
did you get into all of these things? Where did it begin?
Oh my God. Okay. So I was thinking about this on the way here. So I organised my first threesome when I was like 14 with my best friend and my boyfriend. So
And you orchestrated that yourself.
I orchestrated it.
Oh, I love that.
It
Very
was
good.
fucking hot.
Damn.
So got the dildo, like spoke to my best friend's mum, like got everything, put the mattresses out.
Hang on, sorry. You spoke
like-
to your best friend's mum?
Yes.
What about? What
Like
was this
organising it. She was
At
cool.
14,
She was
this is
cool.
awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was super random.
Cool.
So I feel like it's just never been taboo. Like it just felt
Yeah.
really normal. And I think the people in my life have always considered it normal as well. So it's like been this funny like orchestration of events that have just, I guess, led to me now being in this work.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, I'm going to be honest, most of the time we get people on, it's like, where did this start? And it's like, well, I really didn't discover this till like later on. And I started at this, but you were like 14, I was setting up threesomes. I was facilitating them. I was chatting to my friend's mum. We had it
It's funny.
sorted.
This just came to me recently because like people ask me this a lot, right?
Yeah.
But it's like how I actually got into it. So when I was at uni, I was actually studying to be a wilderness guide. So my old industry was working, taking people out into nature. Yeah, it was the sickest job ever.
That sounds like the coolest, well, maybe not for you, but this sounds like the coolest job. So you
I'm
like
not a
take,
nature person.
not at all. So you like take people out.
Maybe
and
after today you will be.
convert you.
I don't know.
Yeah, so tell me, you like take people out, you like show them around. I don't know. What exactly do you do? Yeah.
So I was basically working in Alice Springs, taking people out onto the Lara Pinta Trail, hiking, teaching them about nature, like into remote places. It was the best job ever. So like kayaking, fishing. Yeah, I was also a full drive guide, taking people to Fraser Island, Moreton Island.
This sounds sick.
It was honestly the best job ever. It
Yeah.
was so fun, but the pay was so shit. So
Yeah, I can imagine.
it's like
Yeah.
$25 an hour.
Well, to be fair, you shouldn't get paid a lot to be able to do all those cool things. I think like that's fair. If you get to basically just go out and hike for the day and like go full driving, I don't think you should get paid very much. So I think it's a good.
Don't say that.
It's true. That's the coolest job ever. I do that. I was going to say for free. But
Well,
maybe for free. I do it for the
having
25.
sex for your job is pretty good, but
that's
we get
probably
paid pretty
gonna
handsomely. I get to fuck
True.
all day for a living.
All right, fair enough. All right, I'll take
And
it
I'm
back.
paid very handsomely
I'll
to
take
do
it
that.
back. That's
to
true.
not leave my house and just have sex.
All right. So you're doing the wilderness thing, and then what was the next stage? What happened
Yeah,
for you
so
next?
I was probably 22. I was on Seeking Arrangements. It
Oh,
was where it all
okay,
began
hello.
in the sugar baby realm. And I had this guy message me saying, can I be your slave? I was like,
Okay.
Oh.
okay.
Were you at that time? Were you on there as like a dom sugar baby or not?
No,
Okay,
not
so
at
he
all.
just randomly said that.
Yeah.
Plucked me out.
Yeah, okay. He
Saw
just
it on
knew.
me.
He just knew, yeah.
He knew it was in
he
the
saw some
eyes.
talent in you.
Yeah, he's like, she got kinky eyes.
It was the funniest fucking thing. So this guy used to come to my house and I would hog tie him to my couch. And
Oh my God, seriously?
I wouldn't even touch his dick. And he'd be like fucking
So he
rock
actually
hard.
became your slave.
Yeah.
So hang on, sorry, I'll get it back. So when he asked you, were you just like, yeah, no problem, I got this?
Yeah,
Or were you like,
pretty
yeah, but you'll
much.
need to like teach me how to dom you? Or you were just
Nah.
like, fake tea maker type shit. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Do not do this at home.
Okay.
Please don't start how I did.
Yeah.
Please get training.
So you went to like how to hog tie. You're like, I've done this in the wilderness training. We'll just bring it into the
I
bedroom.
feel like my personality is like just fuck around and find out.
Yeah,
You just
okay.
figure it out. You know
Cool.
what I mean? Just kind of, I've always found myself in jobs that I'm not qualified for.
Yep,
It's
fair.
kind of been my thing. Like once
Cool.
I was a kickboxing instructor with zero experience.
They also saw you on the street. They were like,
Literally,
"Are you going
I
to
think it's
kickboxing?"
because I was hot.
I'm
the guy
great.
like had a bit of a thing for me in the
Oh,
interview.
okay.
He's like, yeah, you could totally
yeah.
do a kickboxing
Hang
class.
on. I'm sorry. How did you go for this interview? Where did that even start? You saw an ad in the paper. You're like, sure.
I did. That's literally how it happened. I was like, that looks fucking fun.
Yeah, I could kickbox.
I pretty much just follow the fun shit. Like
Okay, that's
going
fair.
camping, you
Yeah.
know, having a slave. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
As you do. Yeah, fair. All right, so this was you had a slave. You started to Google some things. You learned, let's say, on the job.
yeah. So it's actually so funny. So going back to the memories is just hilarious how it started.
Yeah.
So getting this guy into my house, and I'd have to have a bit of a drink at the time because I was like young, you know, I was
Yeah.
like totally new, had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be humiliated. So I would get my housemate to come in and like laugh at him and
Oh, your housemate
You got
in
your
on it.
housemate involved.
That's gold. Yeah.
make him stand in the corner and just laugh at his dick. And
And did you
yeah.
find for yourself? Were you at the end of this like, fuck, I really enjoy this? Or was this more like, hey, I'm doing my sugar baby thing and it's just like, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got a thrill. There was like something inside of me that was like, there's something here.
Yeah,
Like there is
I want to do
something-
more of this.
There's something in this. And it felt like there was an exchange of energy that happened within that. Like within the potency of the energy exchange from that dom sub dynamic, I was just like hooked on.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something about this in the surrender, in that flow of getting someone to really drop into that space of surrender. I was like, this is juicy. And
Yeah.
that's how it all began.
Just like tapped into it. Yeah.
So then how did you then, like, did you then just go into like, did you put an ad up after that and then was like, oh, I wonder if there's more slaves out there?
No. So actually, I kind of went into full service after
Yeah.
that. So I was doing more sugar baby stuff. And yeah, did that for a while, like I guess in conjunction with working as a guide. What a combo, right? Taking people into nature and into my bedroom.
Yeah, there you go.
Come and see what you can find. I will teach you all of the things.
That's gold.
So yeah, that it kind of just did that for a while, and then it wasn't until I actually moved to the Sunshine Coast, and that was only 2 years ago. So it's been this like crazy trajectory of my life. Like so, I
Okay.
moved there 2.5 years ago, and I was working at the time as a full drive guide. I was running
Wow.
camps, doing all this stuff. It was my full time gig. I was the state manager,
Okay.
running all the things, doing all their business development. Like it was like my career.
Yeah.
And then I met this beautiful woman when I moved to the Sunshine Coast, and she said, come with me to this event. I was like, okay, what is it? And I hadn't ever really been to any orgies or sex parties or anything like that, but I'd always like read stories online about these things.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a tantric temple event.
Okay.
And then met this guy there. He was actually a sub, and he had all these like electro play things
Yep.
and like flame
Jesus Christ.
things, and yeah, it was full on. I had no idea. I was just like, oh my God, but I was there, and I had like my little whip that I had brought, and I was wearing this like Russian doll
A little
outfit.
weird. People were
and-
probably like, oh, that's cute.
Like, literally looking
Check
back
out my
now.
electrodes. Came
Here's
with
my
your whip.
flamethrower.
Literally, and it was like a tiny little flogger, and I thought it was so fucking cool.
You're probably
was
like, oh
like-
yeah, I'm going to be scaring everyone with this.
That is literally how I felt. I was like, I'm so fucking cool. Like, I've got this sorted. I was like, holy shit, there is like a whole world of
So
things
can,
here.
wait, can we rewind for a minute? What even is a tantric temple night, and why is there electrodes and flamethrowers and things there?
Yes, I love this question. So I think the flavor of my business is probably quite unique in the sense that tantric temple events, I mean, it stems from like the ancient times. So, you know, flashback to before the churches came in and took rule over the world. There was ancient temples that existed where priestesses would come and perform like sexual healings on men. And this is where like the sacred prostitute, and they would like initiate young men. And this was happening. Yeah. And then I guess this is where people would gather. They would celebrate pleasure. You know, sometimes there would be like substances, and you've probably seen like this depicted in art all throughout Europe. And like there's still remains of some of these temples. Like think about Aphrodite and all these places, and they still exist. You can actually go and visit them in Europe still.
Nice.
Well, yeah, Europe are a little bit more open than the rest of the world, I think.
We're a bit behind.
Yeah.
We're catching up though.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where we stem this kind of idea from. And I guess it's like this transpersonal web of souls where you get to meet other people, other beings in a space where you might want to dance, you might want to play, you might want to connect. It might be an erotic thing. It might be a dance of poetry, of art. And I guess it's more focused on the erotic. And I mean, that's the kind of neo-tantra is it kind of focuses more on the sacred sexuality element.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tantra is like a whole philosophy. It's like a yogic philosophy that has so many different lineages and little mini rules and I guess things and practices that go into it. But these days what we see is kind of just the small little piece that's been, I guess, kept and used quite frequently, which is the kind of neo-Tantra style. And what it can look like is, you know, games, connection games, practices, yeah, I guess it kind of sets you up to go into a place of like open play space, which is where you see the electro play stuff come in. So we bring in the kink because me and my business partner, Nick, love kink and we kind of brought the two together. We've brought kink and Tantra in the same space.
Okay, really.
Yeah.
I've got so many questions based around the way you run like your nights. But before we get to that, let's hear more about your first night and you walking in there. So how did you
let's go back
feel?
to that.
Yeah, what happened during that?
So yeah,
and, like,
a guy pulled out his flamethrower.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I remember just walking in and it was like, just the ambience of the space like was just like electric. Like everyone was like really quiet. It was dark. It's like beautiful lighting and beautiful music. And we were guided through like a consent and boundaries workshop, which is I'd never learnt about consent. Like what the fuck?
Oh, okay. So
Growing
you get
up.
there, it's kind of like chill vibe. And then they basically have like this facilitator come up and give a workshop around consent. Okay.
I mean, that's the way that my business partner was the person that was running it. So,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
yeah,
All
this
right.
is how it all kind of began.
Yep.
So yeah, they took the way that they styled it was they did a consent and boundaries at the beginning and then they kind of take you through like different practices, connection games,
Okay.
you know, I guess like working with energy and also with breath.
So before the
movement.
play, there's like a little kind of
Yeah.
intro demo and
Yep.
stuff, and then people can then go
Exactly.
into it.
And so
Okay.
these games are essentially like randomly assigned with different people, or do like people come as partners and do games with each other? Like how is that kind of facilitated?
Both.
Both,
So people can either just play with their partner if they want to
Yep.
be in, like if you are monogamous, you can still participate and just stay with your partner.
Yep.
But otherwise there's a chance to mingle with all people.
Oh, so there's like a swinging element as well.
I mean, people come for all kinds of reasons and there's are people that come just because they want penetration.
Yeah.
But I think people come because they're craving more
Yeah.
from intimacy and from pleasure and they want that connection and that deepness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so how did you feel after the event? Like when you finished up, were you like, damn, this is something I want to get into. This is something I want to explore more.
Literally, I was like obsessed. I was like, this is the coolest thing. I was like, these are my people. Like, this is so epic. Like, just being around all these people that were so sexually liberated, so in their power, and just willing to ask for what they want. Like, I'd never been able to just be like, hey, can you please touch me like this? Can I want 5 hands on me. I want 6 hands on me. I want you to massage my face and I want you to suck my pussy and I want you to do this. And yeah, and all these possibilities that open up when, or kind of, I guess, because the way that they run it, there is no penetration, but most temple nights have penetration.
Okay.
In them.
All right. So
Yeah.
in my mind, this is kind of like, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is my interpretation so far. All right. So essentially it's a sex party, but sometimes there's no sex involved. And it starts off with more of a tantric element of like being mindful of a strong element around like consent. And you facilitate a lot of that with the people that come. You have almost like a workshop type thing with like games people can engage. And then there's like an open play kind of section afterwards.
I mean, it's an interesting one because it's kind of a fusion. Like it's like a yes and.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's a sex party as such because so the way that we do it, I'll just explain. So we got the consent and boundaries workshop, then the games, and then in open play, there's like all the different sections. So we've got the kink section. So you've got like the St. Andrew's cross. You've got all the props, all the things. Then you've got old mate who brings his fucking flamethrower.
Yep.
So people are welcome to bring their own stuff to it if they want. And obviously you get the different flavors, the kaleidoscope of people that come.
Tell me about the different sections then. So there's like the BDSM, like more kink kind of section, and then what else?
Which is my space.
Yep.
And then you've got the massage. So we'll have like multiple massage tables, and then there's wax play. Then we've got shibari. Then we've got regulation station, which is where you go if you're just having a bit of a wig out.
Chill,
need a moment, getting a bit like, this is a lot. You can just go and chill there and no one's going to touch you.
Yep.
Basically.
You're safe.
And then one of our team will come and check in.
Yeah. This reminds me, sorry, of it, like when I go to some festivals, they have, I forget what they call them, right? But there's
it's like the fluff station or something weird.
It's like the chill out zone, and you go there, people make tea for
Chai
you.
tent.
And you just, if you're a bit
Munging out.
Yep, exactly.
Like dance-wise.
Yeah, they have like dance-wise station. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so you got like a chill out section.
And then we've got sensation station. So if you're a bit of a sensual being and you like, say, chocolate feathers, like you want someone to feed you grapes and like anoint you with oils and treat you like a fucking queen, it is the coolest thing.
Stage.
Yeah.
I know, I'm looking at you.
I want someone to fan me and feed me grapes.
Yeah,
rub
we
my
have a
feet.
throne.
I feel like I want to go to one of these.
Yeah, they've got a
You would
throne.
love
Oh,
it.
no, I'm going to be sitting on the throne the whole night, and I'm going to have like men.
Kat, you're meant to share the whole thing.
No.
Like,
Are
more
you fucking
feathers.
serious?
I am so happy to orchestrate that.
I feel sorry for the person that's going to try to get me off that throne. Are you serious?
They're like, Kat, we're packing up now.
They would be fucking nuts to try and kick you off.
Yeah, right.
That's gold.
So that's pretty cool. It's really cool. And I love that the people will arrive and they'll be like super anxious, like, oh my God, like what the fuck have I said yes to? And then when they leave, they're like this juiced up fucking god or goddess.
That's awesome.
Whereabouts are these hosted? Do you do any in Sydney?
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
No. Sunshine Coast and Melbourne at this stage. Potentially Newcastle soon. But yeah, who knows? It's
Cool.
Is there any coming up soon? I'm like invested in this now. I think you need the princess at the throne.
Honestly, that would be so hard. I would love to see that.
You need a trip to Melbourne.
Yeah. So I don't know when the next one is in Melbourne, but we're going to do one in March on the sunny coast. So,
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
It's so fun. It's so fun. And like just to be able to claim your desires. Like if you've ever had a desire that is something a little bit odd or maybe out of the ordinary or like something that maybe people haven't had the confidence to ask for, it's the perfect playground for that.
Yeah, so this is something that I want to try to do, like, I think a bit more of going forward, because I'm very, like, I'm pretty vanilla. I'm not very
I find that hard to
kinky.
believe.
Well, so it is hard to believe. So so I think it stems from that I haven't been doing sex work for very long, like in comparison to other people that I know.
How long have you been doing it for?
It's been like 3 years. And before that, I was in accounting and I had like a very like upper class family. I was in accounting. No one spoke about sex. And so I think all of my thoughts and things about sex, it was all very conservative up until like 3 years ago. So I think like the last 3 years, it's just been getting okay, I guess, just with sex in general. I mean, not that I wasn't having sex before I was, but sex work. And then I'm like getting kinkier a little bit over time, but because it's very hard to just go from like very, very conservative to then also all of a sudden being a sex worker. I think it was a very big jump.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want to try to get more into like doing kink stuff and being less vanilla.
I love it.
Which I feel like that's probably the best place to start.
It's a good place to start. I mean, unless you're going to hire a dom, it's a good place to start because we have like trained professionals in each section. So we have like erotic masseuse people that are offering like little mini sessions because it's good for their business because they get to promote their services and they get to give little sprinkles and hand out their business cards. So it's a win-win. So then we'll have like trained Shibari masters, we'll have trained DOMs, usually myself, but it's really hard to be in like 17 places at once. So like usually me and Nick will just float around.
That's
but yeah,
cool.
it's the perfect place. And there'll be other people there, right? Other participants that are like super into something. So like what we love to do in the beginning is we'll get people to like speak into a desire, and whether we do it in pods like sharing, or we might do it through like a game which we call Anybody Else, where you kind of step forward and claim your thing, and then if other people share that same desire, they all step forward.
That's
so we're
cool,
like, you know, take note of the other people that want like, you know, feathers around their bum hole. All right, cool. So it's cool. There'll be the perfect place for that.
Yeah, I like that there's such variety. I think like, I know you don't like the term like sex party, but if I think of like sex parties, a lot of them are very like one-dimensional, I guess you'd say. So you might go to like a BDSM night, you might go to like a beginner's night, or like if you're in a tantric space, it is very much like the white tantra type stuff.
Yes.
And it's very like, okay, we're going to sit here and hold hands and meditate. And so like this feels like no matter who you are, kind of what kink you have, you can come along, you can experience your thing, but then you can kind of say, well, I haven't tried this before. This kind of looks interesting. You can go there and someone can facilitate it. There's an expert there that you can chat about it, or like you can just watch and observe. So I really like that there's such a variety there for everyone. That's kind of cool.
It's epic, and it brings in a pretty epic kaleidoscope of humans, because you do get, so you get the swingers, you know, you get them, they're like, I just want to fuck. You're like, cool, man, that's fine. You can have that. You get the people that want the tantra, the more connective breath work, you know, all these kinds of things. And then you get the ultra kinky people, and oh my gosh, seeing them all together, I love it. Chef's kiss.
And it sounds like you're kind of similar in your own desires and professionalism as well. Like you have like the slightly tantric background, and then sounds like the very Dom BDSM. Like do you kind of do both worlds, I guess you'd call it?
Yeah, it's pretty random. I feel like I'm pretty varied in my like offerings. I mean, I focus mainly on tantra and then kink. And then when I get the lucky client that wants tantra and kink together, those are my favorite. Because I just love combining like the presence, like the real embodied stuff that comes with the tantra in with kink. Because you can just go so much deeper. Like when someone's open to that, but it can be really like sensitive and very what's the word? Like vulnerable to actually really sit with what the body is feeling. So that's why some people, like, you know, you have to kind of tread carefully with a lot of the embodiment and like somatic tantra stuff, because if they're not ready, you know, it can trigger people and these kinds of things. So, but yeah, I love blending them. Yeah,
I think it's great. And I think there's a lot of people that are probably like into tantra, or they start out there, that would benefit and like love exploring like BDSM style of sex, and vice versa. I think there's a lot of people in BDSM that would more easily adapt to like tantric styles of sex than someone that is completely new to either. So I think it's great. I think it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's different. I like it, but I like that it kind of captures so many different kinds of people. Like I love that, like for instance, coming on tour to Sydney, get people that want to inquire for tantric massage, and it's a completely different style of booking and energy, which is why I charge different rates, because the energetic holding of someone who wants a very intense, oh my gosh, on the way here, dealing with some very intense kind of what I would consider intense like kinks and desires. It's like chalk and cheese, but I love that I get all of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Should we talk a little bit more about like your personal like escorting or your clients or around that? Like,
cool.
What does that typically look like for you? What type of clients do you get?
Yes. Oh, gosh, it's
you
a hard
get a mixed
one.
bag, I think.
It's such a mixed bag. It's always like looking at my phone like, oh God, what am I going to get today? Because you just never know.
I feel that suits your personality though. I feel like you are a bit like you need the craziness in a way.
I do, yeah. 100% a bit of that ADHD. Like I feel like it keeps me busy. Like, so for instance, on the way here, had someone who wants like a serial killer, like necrophilia fantasy.
Wait, what?
Interesting. All right. Tell us more.
Let's do it.
Necrophilia, isn't that like dead people? Okay. How do you role play that? Do you pretend to be dead?
I'm gonna kill him.
She's the murderer. Yeah.
And you're the necrophiliac.
I'm going to kill him and then like have sex with his body.
Okay.
That is interesting. I've not, I've heard some, I've heard some crazy things.
Yeah.
But that one, I feel like that would be a little bit fun though.
How much?
I think it's going to be really fun.
No.
How much
I think
creative
so.
control do you have here? Like, do you get to pick the way that you kill him, or is this like is he driving the script here?
Death by comedy. Laugh at my jokes. He has a very
elaborate plan.
you should see it. It's like fucking 10 pages long. So
damn.
Wow.
yeah.
He's thought about it.
You're
He's
basically
thought
like,
about it.
It's like a
an
movie
actress
script.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Pretty
and I
much.
mean, sometimes I get people that are just like, will throw something out like, oh, I want to be fisted. I'm like, okay,
Easy.
Cool.
Yeah.
okay, I'll just
I'll
figure that
just
out.
My fist in there.
Yep,
Yeah.
all right.
I will just do that, no problem. All right, you can just lay here. But this guy, for instance, has written this like full-on description. So
Yeah.
I'll be like, essentially acting it out.
Do you feel like you need to like memorize lines? You like fuck
I will
line?
probably have it up on my phone. And if I have him blind, and I've done that before, like even for a booking last night, he had so many different requests, like from feet to smells to this thing, but not that thing. It was like, I want this, but I don't want that. So because I send out a kink checklist, which has like all of the things that I offer, and they'll tick on like a scale of how willing they are to do it.
Okay.
And if they're like, you know, all the way, then I can consider it. But if they're like medium, then I might chuck a few in, you know, just to see how they kind of react. So I can be creative in that sense.
That's cool. I like that. And do you often get this where people will come to you and say like, this is like my kink? Or is it a lot of that where it's like, I'm happy to explore, like, you kind of lead and tell me what you want to kind of work through and you send the checklist off?
It's a bit varied. Like people will either come and say, I want this specific thing, or sometimes they'll be like, I'm just messaging you and I don't know why.
Okay, yeah.
There's just something about you.
there,
Yeah, I'm sure you get that as well. Like people just drawn to you.
Well, I don't really do kink stuff. So like my clients are coming to me to fuck.
To fuck.
So that's,
They're coming to
it's
fuck.
usually my inquiries are you free? Are you
love
free
it.
tonight at 7:00? Yep. Okay. Cool. Here's where I
Sweet.
meet you, and that's it. We're gonna bang.
We're going to do the thing.
Yeah. That's because I don't really advertise myself as doing anything kinky. I advertise myself as being very vanilla. So that's that people come in, they want to smash, and that's it. And they have some good chat.
And I guess like
Yarns
if you,
important.
That's about it. I every now and then I get asked to do some kinky stuff, and I'm just like, well, no, I don't.
yeah, you say
I
no,
don't do
right?
that. Yeah. Depending on how kinky, finger up the ass, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been asked a couple of times to do like golden showers, which I tried doing once, but I just have pee fright.
Oh my God, how did it go?
No, I couldn't do it. I have severe pee fright. I can't. If someone's listening, I can't pee. I have a very shy bladder. But yeah, sometimes I'll get guys like I had one. I've only ever done one booking where I had like a client where he wanted me to like spit on him and like punch him and stuff. And like I did do it, but I found it very difficult to do.
Oh, well, you can charge more money.
No, I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know. I kept checking in with him, being like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm so sorry. I know. And then he was like, "No, like, stop asking me if I'm okay. Just do it." And I was like, I'm punching you in the face. It just feels wrong. So I'm just. So this is why I'm like, I want to try to like explore my kinky side. Like, I want to be able to punch someone in the face and not feel bad.
good about it, yeah. Did you experience that with the hog tie? Like when you first started getting into it, was there an element of like, feeling bad or feeling worried, or did you just like embrace it?
100%. Yeah. And I think when I first started, it was so not embodied. Like I was so not conscious.
Yeah.
Not at all. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I was like drinking bulk alcohol to get through it. Like there was no element of consciousness in it. So now that I've had training around boundaries and consent, how to structure a scene, like I'm very like trauma informed is like a massive thing for me. If people come to me and they say, I want to be fisted, but their body is like, there's no fucking way.
No.
I'm not here to re-traumatize someone.
No.
That's your responsibility. You know what I mean? I'm not here to, I guess, because whatever their body doesn't process, it will be stored for later. And I don't want to be adding to that.
Okay.
Like it's just going to compound their trauma. So I think a lot of people, like a lot of DOMs in this space, they're not trauma informed. So they'll just do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Whereas I will only meet them where their body is saying yes.
Cool.
I think that's a very important thing as well. I think some people try to force something sometimes and body says no. That's like with me with anal.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think
totally
you
with
get a finger
anal.
up there, but like I have tried so many times to like do anal and my body just doesn't want a penis in my ass. It just doesn't.
Fair
So
enough.
no matter how much I want a penis in my ass, it just
Body says no.
My body says no. It just won't do. It just won't have it. Yeah. Which is annoying.
And good to honor that, right?
Yeah, I
like
know,
because you
just
don't want to
said-
have to deal with that shit later. Like
And so can you talk more about like trauma informed? Like what does that mean to you? So if you have a client that's like, yo, fist me, no script, okay? You don't even remember any lines. You get there and then your client is just like very, let's say like anxious or their body like contracts. Like how do you manage that? How do you treat that? What are your next steps, I guess?
I see it as a fun challenge.
Yeah.
I guess the joy of my role is trying to get people as relaxed as possible. So one of the best ways to do that is through co-regulation. So breathing with them. So if I notice that they're super dysregulated, and I'll try and do it in ways that they're not aware, and I'll pre-frame all of this before the session. So they will already be aware of the nervous system responses. So that's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So they'll be aware that they're going to be kind of noticing those responses within themselves. But, these things happen in a scene. It's like happens in a blink that all of a sudden you've gone into freeze or you've gone into fawn, all these things. So because I'm noticing the signs in their body, it could be like a flicker of the eye. Like they go like with their eye. That's one really good way to tell if someone's about to go into a response. So I've had this happen before where I had someone who wanted a pretty full-on DNS scene, cock and ball torture, like all the things, and his body completely fucking shut down. He was like trembling and his eyes did the thing and his like jaw was like totally clenched up. So what I did was I was like, right, get on the bed. I want you to lay on your back. And I just put his head on my body and we just breathed together for like 5-10 minutes. And it took a while, but eventually his entire body was just like, I was like, okay, now the scene has begun. And then from there I can build it up. And then it's slowly titrated in. It's called titration. So you got like what we call the window of tolerance in like the trauma-informed space. It's like you've got this area in which your body can operate in, and you kind of got this window and you can kind of dance on the outside. And those are the things on the maybe category. Kind of when you start to get those maybe things, maybe you start to go into, oh, fuck, become a bit dysregulated. And then you go, okay, back into the safety of the window of tolerance. And then that's when you're back into maybe just essential domination, massage, nipple play, whatever. And then you can kind of add these little more intense things. So whether it's fisting and maybe they've become super dysregulated, then it's like, okay, how can we kind of shift the focus for a minute and then maybe kind of bring it back in just like a little bit by little bit so that their body can start to open and soften into the experience because they're going to get more pleasure. If they're relaxed, their body is going to feel so much more than if they're like this. They're cutting themselves off from pleasure if you're not breathing. So what's the fucking point?
I mean, this sounds like it sounds a little bit like exposure therapy in a way, right? Where you're like getting to the edge of where their body can like handle.
100%.
And then you relax into that state. They feel better there. You may be able to push a little bit more. And if it's too far, you kind of pull back. So
yes, exactly. And you kind of like, it's like a fun dance. You get to be like, all right, like how can I like hold this space for this person? Because you're like kind of shrouding them in this like bubble, this container of like love and like holding. And it's like, all right, how can I get them to meet that edge? Because that's where they get that excitement. And we have the same thing in outdoor ed, actually, in wilderness guiding. It's actually really funny. So we talk about it with kids, like taking them into the wilderness because you want them to have that peak experience where they've gone, I did it.
Yeah, it feels great.
I was awesome. I climbed across that rope swing and I did it. And it's like, but you don't want to push them too far where they're going into a full fucking freak out like, and they go home and they're traumatized anxious, and they never want to do it again. You want them to be able to want to go, oh, I did a thing and now I want to do it again, but I want to do it a little bit more. So that's the sweet spot.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's so funny comparing things. Like I think about my niece, like take her on a roller coaster. And it's like that's the whole idea of like you don't want to force them on the roller coaster. They're traumatized forever. But then you also want to be able to like give them a little bit of a helpful push as well. So,
100%.
How would you say, for those listening that want to understand this a little bit more, maybe they're like with a partner that is experiencing some of the things we're talking about. So like, I mean, Kat gave an example where it's like, okay, you want to, on like a mental level, like experience anal, but then on a somatic level, like physically, it's not happening. For the person that's, I guess, like facilitating that or with the partner, how do you, I guess, be in a position where you're worried about your own pleasure, you're trying to worry about your partner's pleasure, and then you, again, on top of this, you're trying to look out for signs of maybe like going a little bit too far or your partner's like pulling back a little bit. How do you manage all those things in your mind in this sexual experience?
I think just removing the pressure and any expectation of anything having to happen from the beginning. Like just make it play. Make it a chance, like a dance. All right, well, how can we just get curious about what is available here? Because you might go into it thinking it's anal, but maybe it's actually something else that your body's actually wanting. And then I think from eliminating that goal of this is the thing that I must have, it's like, okay, well, how can we just like play and dance around that? And then maybe by eliminating the pressure, it's like with orgasm, right? When you're like, I gotta come. But as soon as you're like, oh, don't worry, I'm not gonna worry about coming, you become closer to orgasm. Yeah. It's like as soon as you eliminate that pressure, the body opens and softens. So that would probably be the first thing.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. All right, let's talk about, so one of your other hats.
I got so many.
I know, it's bizarre.
So you do some public speaking as well, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that? What type of public speaking do you do?
Yes. So at Sexpo,
rest in peace.
I know. I'm so sad about that.
Yeah.
So at Sexpo, at festivals, at events.
At festivals?
Yeah, like
Tell us
different.
about the festivals.
Yeah, what festivals are these?
Like the hippie festivals, like Rabbit's Eat Lettuce, Elements.
You have not been to Rabbit's Eat.
No, I don't do the
so
hippie
good.
shit.
It's so good. Are you going this year?
Oh mate, I'm such a doofer. Like I love psytrance and raving. It's like
Mark,
totally
Mark
my
loves
thing.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would
love
not
a
for me.
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, you would not like Rabbit. It's
No,
amazing.
I know
it's
I
so
wouldn't.
Good.
Yeah,
You don't like
I'm not into
Dugga?
Well, I don't like the music. It's the music that
Okay,
does
yeah.
it for me.
Yeah.
It's
Techno?
The techno and psytrance, not a
techno.
No, it makes me go crazy.
Sad, I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember
There you
the
go.
first time I ever did yoga while tripping was at Rabbit's Eat Lettuce, and it was by accident. So we took a tab, and me and my mate were like, all right, let's go to this. It was in the morning. We're like, let's go to this stage. We get there. We're waiting for, he had some DJ he wants to, we're like waiting there. All of a sudden, this lady comes out. People have mats, and we're tripping
You're like, all right, downward dog.
We're like, what's happening?
Are you saying the same thing that I
let's get started. I turned to my man. I'm like, dude, I think we're at a yoga stage, and he's like, all right, fuck it. And it was the best experience.
Well,
of that whole
we've
weekend.
ended up. You've brought that
I brought it back.
with you.
We ended up hiring a yoga. This was during COVID. We hired a yoga instructor to come to my place.
Yeah.
And we'd all trip and just do yoga, and then the rest of the day
We did that for a while, actually. Yeah.
That is sick. I love that. And it's
Rabbit's Eat
only
Lettuce.
at a festival you would experience something
exactly.
so odd, like a man dressed as a unicorn, like feeding you like, I don't know, sherbet or something.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like, for some, I don't know, this is all the weirdest shit that happens and I just love it.
Yeah.
So you do like Tantra talks? Because can people listen at these festivals? Are they a bit like
workshops,
smacking out a bit?
Well, I think like usually they're in the morning, so like people wake
so
up,
before
they go
people
to
are
their
smacked
things
out.
and,
Too high.
Yeah.
You get the ones that haven't slept yet and they're always fun to talk to.
interesting, yeah.
I think because I've been so used to being on that frequency for so many years, it's like, I guess I'm used to it. Like, even though now I don't like hit it as hard, obviously, but like, I feel like I can meet people at that level, and like,
that's
I
fair.
understand how their brain is functioning.
You know where they're at. Yeah,
Totally.
Exactly. That's cool. So yeah, it's basically like mini workshops, talks, things like that at these.
Workshops, talks. I'm also a performer. I'm a dancer. So just look fans and like circusy things.
All right.
Just for fun. It's not like a career does not pay well, but it's just fun. Like I just love being on stage. Give me a microphone, give me a stage, and I will do something.
Or something?
I guess so. Just laughing. So my stage name is Kinky Chaos.
Kinky Kales.
Kinky Chaos.
Kinky
oh my God.
Kales. I thought you said Kales. And I'm like, this girl's really into her vegetables.
She's vegan.
Like, I don't
She's
know.
vegan. She's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, chaos. Right, that makes more sense.
Kale.
I was literally like, my next question was, do you really like kale? Or where did this come
Hey,
from?
kale's a vibe. Have you tried kale chips?
They're not bad. They're not bad. All right, so kinky. Oh, okay, hang on. We're getting a little video here.
We're getting
a
a
little
live
behind
this
the
looks,
scenes.
this looks sick. All
I
right.
like the outfit.
So for those listening, you're in like a pink leopardy outfit, pink hair, and you're waving around what do you call it? Like a
There's
fan flag.
silk fan veils.
Yeah.
okay.
damn.
So this is actually at Rabbits. This is at the last
Oh,
Rabbits.
okay. I didn't
so
make the
that's
last
where you
one.
do it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This
Are
is
you
cool.
Rabbit's Eat Lettuce? Are you going there?
I think we are. There's a bunch of my mates going, but I haven't got tickets yet.
Come cat.
But they do like
Oh
shibari.
no, I could never. There's
Things that
So Mark and I
she
have
would not
never-
last.
Mark and I have
know.
been to a few like
She's not gonna-
festivals together, right? And we never see each other because I'll be at the dub stage and he'll be at the
Dub's cool.
The
I
trans
love
stage.
dub. You would like esoteric. They've got a whole like snake pit, which is like dub and drum and bass and
Yeah, so
all
I
that
like
shit.
drum and bass and dub is more
Hip-hop.
like or hard style as well. Like I used to go to DEF CON
hardstyle.
back in
Oh,
the
DEF
day.
CON, yeah. I love
Rest in peace,
hardstyle.
DEF CON as well. So so Mark and I so we went to Tomorrowland together. So the whole 3 days, and
I didn't see
we
it.
saw each other. We only ever saw each other if we just so happened to be walking
Walking past.
past.
Hey.
That and that was like, bye.
It's like, do you want to come see? No. Yep. Actually, field day, there was a lot of drum and bass. I was very disappointed.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, because we've been to a few festivals here as well, and same thing. I've been like, oh yeah,
Yep.
bye, I'll see you at the end.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's it. Yep.
So good.
So anyway, might see you at Rabbit Sea Lettuce.
See you
Yeah,
there.
we'll see. I'll be looking out for the silk fan.
Be up there.
Yeah. Damn. So what's
You have to get him on stage.
I don't know
That
about
would
that.
be fun. I love getting the crowd involved. Like
Oh,
I have
there
this
you go,
like
Mark.
have this like bubble
Oh,
gun and
sick.
like we'll invite people up and like pretend to shoot bubbles like out of my pussy.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
just get a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always just wing it. Like I never
Yeah.
plan it. I just kind of get up
There
and
you go.
have a bunch of
Chaos.
things, and that's the
Yeah,
chaos.
All chaos.
And kale.
Yeah.
Kale
Kink and kale coming to you.
Yeah, there you go.
I would come for kale. That's something I would
If you were to
come-
be a vegetable, which one would you be? Kale's taken.
If I had to pick I like
Yeah.
broccoli.
Oh, okay, broccoli.
Broccoli is
All
my
right.
favorite vegetable.
That's fair. I'm more of a capsicum maybe type of guy.
I feel like you're
Is
a
that
potato.
vegetable? Fuck you. Potato. Yeah, I'll take potato. Potatoes are good.
You're
all right?
definitely a potato.
That's like a cheat vegetable. It's not really a vegetable.
Don't try to pretend you're. What did you say? You are a carrot.
Capsicum? No, carrots are
Capsicum?
gross.
You're not a capsicum.
I'm a capsicum,
No,
like a
you're
red
not.
capsicum type of guy. You
No,
know?
you're not.
Yeah, it's all right. Just
These
don't.
potatoes can be eaten like so many ways.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah. She's just jealous because she's a broccoli. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, what are your plans for the future? Because you got a lot of. It sounds like there's a lot of chaos. You got a lot of things going on. Is there one thing that you like? You have a goal set, or you're working on, or that you're trying to achieve? Like, where are you at for this year?
So I love that. So at the moment, I'm actually focused on weaving nature into my work.
Back
So
to your ground
I just
roots here.
bought a Pimpin Land Cruiser
Let's
and
go.
I'm in the process of like fully kitting it out.
Mm-hmm.
I've run one session so far where it's been out in nature
Mm-hmm.
and it was a sex work session. And it was so epic.
That's
it was
really
so
cool.
epic. I think because my like baseline value is sustainability, connection
Mm-hmm.
to nature, and through sexuality, we're connecting to the same current, the same frequency,
Mm-hmm.
that our sex center is the same connection, that is the same energy that connects us to nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the two can be really beautifully woven together. So
Awesome.
through our sex, connecting people down into the earth, down into their bodies, into that energetic frequency of receiving, of surrender, like that is the deep feminine current that I believe that we are missing as a humanity. I think that's where we've gone out of balance. So that's the kind of juice that I'm trying to somehow weave together and again,
I like
fuck around and
that.
find out.
Yeah, so when I feel like it connects you to your youth a bit as well. So I don't know about other people's youth, maybe not yours. You're a good boy. So when I was, well, you weren't. So when I was
Not a good
young
boy.
and I still lived at
It
home,
was a good boy.
I had all of my sex was outside the house, and a lot of the sex that I was having was at parks. In bushes.
Yes, I hear
on
that.
the beach. So that was a lot of sex I was having was literally outdoors. And I feel like it's like reliving my youth a little bit. But I don't think I've had outdoor sex in a long time since I was young, I think, because I have a house now. What do I need to go outside to fuck people for? I don't need to do that because
Literally.
I have a bed and a
Yeah.
house with
Well, we're
no
so
parents.
comfortable. We're so comfortable.
I know. I don't
Have
need
all the
to.
things.
But yeah, you had to be really sneaky back in the day. It was like, oh yeah, let's just go to the beach here. Oh look, there's this rock. Let's just quickly go
behind
behind
the
there.
rock.
There
Oh
was
my
so
God.
many times I
I'm
used to
getting
do things
flashback
like
memories.
that. Yeah, I'm sure you would have had your fair share of doing that.
Yikes.
So I feel like that kind of sounds a bit fun because I haven't done anything like that in a long time.
Totally.
What does this look like? Was this a workshop or like one-on-one coaching? Like, did you go out? Is it you're in bush? Like, what is there a blow-up mattress? Like, paint the picture for me a little bit here.
I think that's what I'm on the journey to figure out. So
Yeah.
at the moment I'm on tour. I'm traveling around for like the next 3 months.
Oh, okay, nice.
And I'm basically just working on the road and I guess trying to work out what that piece is.
Cool.
How it can be woven together.
Yeah.
Whether it is through the brand Eros Temples, through the events, which I feel like it will be. Like the ultimate goal of ultimate goals is to own like, a $10 million acreage property and be able to run these events out there on the land, on country, doing ceremony, doing ritual, doing it like it was done thousands of years ago, bringing back that reverence and that fucking sacredness and power that comes through our sexuality. So I think in terms of like one-on-ones, I can see it being like in nature, like setting up a space. Like I'm going to have like a beautiful awning. Like I've fully lashed out. If you guys are into four-wheel drive shit, I know everything now about how to deck out a four-wheel drive.
Make it a sex temple.
Literally, that's the plan. I was like, this is a crazy idea. I wonder if it'll work.
How to turn your four-wheel drive into a sex temple.
Oh,
That's pretty fucking unique.
Yeah, that's
how
pretty
niche
cool.
is that? I was like getting ideas. I was like, I could get a fold down like St. Andrew's cross.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
That'd be
So
pretty cool.
I don't know. We'll just see.
Yeah.
We'll just see if that is how it's going to be. I don't know if that is what will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll
just
see.
We'll just see what happens. But I feel like it could be something because I posted a bit about it on my socials, like just talking about it. And I had people messaging me saying, I think I'd like to try that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's something different, it's unique. And I think, to be honest, I think it kind of fits that whole like tantric aspect as well. Like I feel like when you are out in nature, it's a little bit easier to relax and kind of be a bit more centered as opposed to being like in the chaos of a city or something like that. So it
could be pretty cool, like very
be.
different. And I was like, could I start a YouTube channel? Like
why not?
The Adventure Dom. I was like having all these
Adventure
ideas.
Dom, yeah.
Imagine.
Miss Kale, the Adventure Dom. That'd be cool.
Done.
Yeah.
Yep, done.
You could like travel around and your four-wheel drive. Yeah.
Mistress Kale.
That's actually fucking hilarious.
Actually, we did ask off air. Where did the name Mistress Eros come from? Eros is it a moon or a god or something?
Yeah,
because Eros is something I can't.
Is it Eros?
So
Am I saying it wrong?
Eros is our life force energy. It is our sexual energy. So Eros is that force that you feel when you like start to have that stirring inside of you and you feel it flowing. And it's like when you walk into a room and everyone's just in this ball of deliciousness, that's Eros. Awesome. That's that energy that connects you through sexuality and through sensuality. So that's where the name Eros Temples came from, which was the brand that me and Nick created. And then I guess it just kind of
Mistress Eros.
Yeah, I was like, that kind of works.
It works.
Mistress Eros.
Done. And so someone listening at home that thinks like, fuck, this sounds really cool. I kind of want to, step into this a little bit, find out more. Would you recommend going to one of the temple nights as their first kind of introduction to this, or would you suggest something else?
It depends. Like I get people that come to me that have had absolutely zero experience in anything sexuality focused. Like they've never even been to an escort before and then come and do a one-on-one session with me where I take them through the boundaries and consent stuff, take them through touch practices, how to ask for what they want, how to know in their body if it's a yes or if it's a no. Some people don't even know what they want. So it's like, okay, let's just play in that, get some confidence around like your sexual identity, then come to a temple night. For some people, it might be coming to a temple night for the first time, and that is the perfect thing for them. So I think wherever people start, it'll be perfect for them.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And before we finish up, are you comfortable sharing with people listening how to, like a simple tip for self-regulation or regulating the partner? I know you spoke before about just like breathing with each other. Would you be happy like just explaining to people at home like a simple technique they can do with themselves or with their partner to help with some of that like regulation?
100%. My favorite thing is just the senses. So simple. So that is the like top tantric, like I guess, framework of what makes it tantric. But I also think that it is the quickest, easiest way to get embodied. So I do this before I do any of my talks. I did it before I jumped on this podcast, is just what can I see? Just looking around the room. Like we're animals, right? We need to treat ourselves like an animal body. So looking around the room, what can I notice about the room? All right, what can I smell? What can I hear? I can hear the cars outside. Okay. And then what can I taste? So just kind of taking yourself through the senses, quickest, easiest way. Before you know it, you're not thinking about the thing that you were freaking out about. You're not focusing on the body that's dysregulated, your heartbeat or your breath that's like. So I'd say the breath and the senses is the easiest, quickest way.
It's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. How can people contact you, find you? What's the best
find
way?
all these temple nights.
Yes. So unfortunately, Instagram took our account. So
Motherfucker.
sad.
It does that, yeah.
So sad. So this is why I'm trying to be a good girl now.
Oh, okay.
And
There
only
you go.
posting nudes now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, so I have also lost an Instagram account as well. It's very sad. So I'm
so
very
sad.
I'm very PG. I can't post any ass on my Instagram account. I
Be
get so
careful.
jealous of the girls that are just posting their ass everywhere. Instagram hates it when I post ass. Tits fine. I can post tits all
That's
day.
I heard
Good to know.
Instagram's
Just-
like a tit guy.
Yeah, well, but I've heard some girls. It's different. So I've heard friends of mine that say if they post boobs, they get flagged, but if they post their ass, they don't. But with me, it's if I post my tits, it's always fine. Ass, not fine.
It's like the robots behind it are like,
I know.
we love our tits, but the ass, save it for later.
I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, tried not posting any ass stuff.
I'm going to do that now.
That's what did my account. Yeah. So I front on only for
no
me.
bums.
Yeah.
Well, I've just went and checked and I have like 5 posts that have been flagged.
Oh, shit.
So I literally have to go on and they're just so disappointing. It's like all my last posts. So anyways, that's on my main personal account. And that's Lotus_erotica. So that it's funny because the name Lotus Erotica came from me wanting to blend nature and pleasure. And this was like back when I first started and I didn't even really realize. And it's so funny how I've like circled back and I'm like,
here we are.
Nice. Past me. So yeah, Lotus_erotica. That's my Twitter. That's my website. Just lotuserotica.com.
Awesome. Perfect.
And the temple nights, are they on your Instagram
They're all
website?
on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just Eros temples. We don't have let me just think. No, our landing page is on my website. So
because I'm asking for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I know you have to come with me.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I'm going to be scared.
If I'm in the country.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. We'll put all those links up so you guys can check it out there. And thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. This has been epic.
Cheers.